Hello. Uh, you already know what this is, because the title and the thumbnail. Hi, my cat is here. This is Quiet Place Part 2 review. Why am I dressed like this? Well, it's because there's a character in Quiet Place Part 2 that dresses kind of like this, and I was like, oh, I'll dress up for the video, because that'll be fun. Fun. I also attached the mic to a gun. It's a Nerf gun. It's a Fortnite Nerf gun. I don't really like Fortnite, but the Nerf guns are actually pretty cool. I got a couple of them because I thought I could paint them and stuff for like movies and stuff that we make in the future. But yeah, but you feel pretty enthused now. Anyway, the film Quiet Place Part 2. Should just talk like this the whole time? Just Quiet Place Part 2 was pretty interesting. I actually got to see it in theaters. It was very nice. Theater experience is weird. When I was at the theater, I saw this little, like, I don't know, she was probably 10. This 10-year-old girl taking selfies with the Boss Baby 2 poster. And if you're gonna take selfies with a movie poster, which is admittedly weird, but some can make sense, why the Boss Baby 2? More importantly, why is there a Boss Baby 2? Who wanted this? I don't care enough about the first Boss Baby to want to watch the second one, or even want a second one to exist. It's like the most unneeded sequel ever. Like, why? It's been like, what? How many years has it been since the first Boss Baby? I feel like it came out in 2017. It's 2021 now. It's like 4 years. I might be wrong. It might have been 2018 or 19, but I think it was 2017. But I don't care enough about the Boss Baby to understand why. If someone understands why, and don't just say money, put it in the comments, and then I will thank you. Anyway, I was honestly scared that it was going to hit something important, but I don't think it did. So, Quiet Place Part 2. Now, when I went into the Quiet Place Part 2, and when I talked about it in my upcoming movies I was excited for, I'd only seen a few of the trailers. I'd seen a couple of them. I was interested, but I wasn't like watching every single new trailer that came out like I was when Endgame was coming out. So, I don't know if they just didn't make this apparent in the trailers that I watched, or only the ones I watched, like, only they showed it off in later ones. But I was under the impression that this was a prequel. It is not. It is a sequel to the original movie. And there's like a couple of prequel scenes in the beginning to set some stuff up. So going into that, I'm sitting in the theater, I'm like, oh, day one. I see. This is how they're doing the prequel, telling those like first few days. And then a thing, they had this whole like setup scene of like everything crazy happening and, a bit of exposition for what's, happened. And then they just had, it cut to like day 400 and something. I was like, oh, this is a sequel. I don't know. I thought that was kind of interesting. As a sequel, it does a really, really, really good job at it. I mean, the original was a great movie. Sure, it had its flaws, but overall, it was definitely a great movie. The sequel is, number one, less flawed, but number two, it has, better things in most departments. It's got a lot better character work, I will say that. I was impressed by that a lot more here. I would say the sequel, it's been a while since I've seen the first one, but I think the sequel is probably more intense. It's got a bit more thrill to it. They definitely show off the creatures a lot more in this version of the movie instead of the, in the first one they didn't show them that much, but in the second one they show the creatures. You get a good look at them many times. The plot, it's a realistic continuation. I was invested in pretty much all of it, and the new characters they added were excellent. I loved all of them. I loved all the old characters, I think because he wasn't in as much of the movie, John Krasinski had more to work with the writing and the directing, which I think really shines through here because this movie outshines the original in almost every way, and the original is a good movie. This is even better, It's not a Scorsese film, obviously, because I don't review a lot of Scorsese films on here. I've reviewed one, but they are what they are. They're good, they're excellent, but I don't have nearly as much to talk about, about them. I enjoy them. I love most of the things about them, but I just don't have nearly as much to talk about there as with a movie like this, which I enjoyed a lot. It was a lot of fun being back in the theater, just sitting there with other people, choking on candy, trying not to cough because it's a quiet place and everyone will hear you because it's quiet half the time. And it was a lot of fun. I will say, I'm not gonna, I'm trying not to go into spoilers a lot for this review because I really think you should see this. I mean, you have to see the original first if you haven't seen it, but you really should see this because it's an excellent sequel. The original probably could have gotten away without a sequel, and I think the original and this movie both do a good job of leaving it open-ended, but also has a feeling of just being resolved. So this could be the end of the series, and you'd be happy. But if they made another one, you'd be like, okay, and you'd be interested. It does that really, really well in the first one, and I think even better in this movie. Now, because I can't get into spoilers, I don't have a ton more to say about this movie, but once again, I want to praise the character work because it is much, much better. And a lot of the world building also was increased, The first one was kind of a smaller story. This one has a bit more to it. As well as the thrills. Thrills were definitely increased, and they got a bit more variety with them. Other than that, I'm deeply sad. It fell off. Hold on. Other than that, I'm gonna give this movie like what? I'm gonna give it like an 8.5, And I want you to, oh my god, I just touched my face to the microphone. I want you to keep in mind that generally I rate movies on enjoyment. And there's really nothing about this movie I didn't enjoy. However, I try to keep, take into account, 10 out of 10 for me. 10 out of 10 is a masterpiece. 9.5, oh, that is, the best, nearly the best of the best. A 7 for me, that's a good movie. That's a fine movie. A 6, I like some things about it. There's a lot of stuff that I didn't vibe with, but overall, I still enjoyed it. 5 is just, and then everything below that is different levels of bad. So, keep in mind, an 8 is above a good movie. This is 8, so this is an 8 would be like a great movie, a high quality film that I enjoyed. It's not gonna go on my top 10 favorite films of all time list, but I would definitely watch it again and I enjoyed it. There wasn't a single part of this movie that I didn't really enjoy. And I think that is an outstanding accomplishment. So, good job, people who made The Quiet Place Part 2. And now, my audience, I don't think I'm going to do another double upload week this week, and I'm sorry that the last one kind of fell through a bit, but,